everyone, you're welcome back to this channel. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you how to make a pinafore dress, and trust you're going to find this tutorial helpful. So let's get started. Now I have all things that are needed for this tutorial are my lining, my interface, and the fabric itself. So let's get started. Now the first thing I'm going to do right here is to work on the fabric. Now I'm going to fold this fabric into two. I will be cutting the front part first. So you could cut both the front and the back piece together at the same time. Okay, so let me quickly see if this cloth is going to be enough. So as you can see me doing, I'm folding into two equal parts. So I'm refolding it again. Okay, so I'm refolding it the second time. So can you see? So this is going to be the center front for both the back and the front piece. Now in the back piece is not going to have a zipper. It's going to be, the zipper is going to be at the sides, the side seam. So right now you can see it's folded into 4 pieces. So which means I will be cutting both the front and the back piece at the same time. Now the first thing I'm going to do is to consider the length, the full length for the gown. Now the full length for this gown is 37 inches. So I will be working with the upper part first. So the half cut, which is going to be, I will be using 15 inches for the half cut. But because it's going to have, that half cut is going to have a band. So I'm going to deduct the width of the band, which is 1.5 inches in my own case, from that 15 inches. So 1.5 or 15 inches minus 1.5, I will be having 13.5 inches left. So the 13.5 is going to be the length for this half cut, but I will be adding like half an inch to it as my as for the what, for the hemline or the down part. So right now we are going to start. So the first thing I'm going to do right here is to mark my zero line, which is going to serve as my shoulder line. So I'm going to mark an horizontal line here, right here. So this line is my shoulder line. Now the half of my shoulder line for this, in this case, is 15 inches. I mean, the half of it is 7.5. That is, the shoulder line is 15 inches. 15 divided by 2 will give me 7.5. But because it's a pinafore, so that 7.5, I'm going to deduct 2 inches from it. So 7.5 minus 2 will give me 5.5. So here is my 5.5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to add 0.5, which is going to be for the allowance by the time I fold it in. So I will be having the total of 6 inches right here. So I mark it. Can you see? I mark it right there. So I'm going to come down from that point by 1 inch, which is going to be the shoulder slope. So here is it. So I came down by 1 inch. Okay, now I will quickly go to the length, the half cut length. You remember I said the half cut ought to be 15 inches, but because it's going to have a band of 1.5 inch, which is for the width of the band, so 15 inches minus 1.5 will give me 13.5 plus half an inch. So I will be marking 14 inches. So I have my 14 inches right here. Can you see? So right now from that point, I'm going to connect straight, make a straight line across that line like I'm doing right now. Can you see? So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to come back to this shoulder line. I'm going to mark my neck width. I will be using 3 inches as my neck width. Okay, now for the back I will be using 2 inches. You could use 1.5 inch, you could use even 1 inch, but let me just use 1.5 inch for the depth of my back uh neckline. Now for the front, I will be using 4 inches. So it actually depends on you. This 4 inches is not fixed. You could make yours 4.5. It depends on how low you want yours to be, because in this pinafore you have to wear another there's an dress you have to put in. So that is why you must not make it too high. So right now I came down by 4 inches right here. So I'm going to connect straight. I'm going to create a curve right there. Okay. So you could use your free hand like I'm doing right now, and you could also use your French curve. So for the beginners, I will advise you use your French curve. So for the back depth, I'm going to create a curve also. Can you see? This is for the back depth, while this is for the front depth. So right now, the next thing I'm going to do, this shoulder slope, I'm going to connect right to this neckline here. So I connect. Can you see? So I've connected. So the next thing I'm going to do is just to go to the waistline. This is my waistline. Okay, now in this waistline, the waist circumference for this is 25 inches. So 25 inches divided by 4, whatever it gives. Like in the case of this one, once in order not to be confused, you can use your tape rule. Just determine your 25 inches on the tape rule, you divide it by 4. So whatever it gives. So in this case here, it will give me like a 25 inches divided by 4 will give me 6.25. Okay, 6.25. I'm going to divide it by 2 again. So I will be having like 3 with little inches, 3 inches and some, or 3.1. Let me just make it 3.15 or 3.2. So you could also make it 3.5. Okay, it's not mandatory you make it half of your what, your 1/4 of your waist circumference. So I'm stopping here. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is just to simply connect this point to this shoulder slope here. So right now I'm going to take my ruler. So I'm going to connect straight. So can you see? I've connected. So right now, the next thing I'm going to do right now is to cut it out. You remember I've added 0.5 inch to it. So in this case too, I will have to add that same 0.5 inch to the waistline. So instead of me connecting to this, I'm going to come out by that 0.5 inch, which I added right on the shoulder line. So our new line is going to be this. So which means justice has been made. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to go ahead and just cut it out. And before this, since I'm using my actual fabric, the next thing I'm going to do right now is to create like 0.5 inch for my the shoulder line. So I'm going to come up like this. Okay. Then for this side, I will also come up like this. So right now, I will just go ahead and cut. But if you are using a pattern paper, all you need to do is make the actual measurement, after which, before you then transfer to your main fabric, then you will have added the allowance you want to make, you want to leave as your seam allowance or sewing allowance. So right now, I'm going to cut, tracing the line like I'm doing right now. So as you can see right here, I've cut it out. So the next thing I'm going to do, because I will have to reshape the front neckline, so I'm going to remove this, which is the back. Okay, I keep this aside. So I'm going to reshape the front neckline, because that of the front is lower than that of the back. So right now I will go ahead and reshape it. Can you see what I've done? So instead of me tracing it on this line, I've decided to leave like less than 0.5, which is going to be my allowance. So by the time I stitch, it's going to be on this line. I hope you are clear. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is just to place it on my lining. So I'm going to place it on my lining. You see what I have? This is the front piece, okay, and this is the back. This is the back piece. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do right now is just to place these pieces exactly like this on my lining. Then I cut it all on my facing, and I cut it out exactly. So welcome back. As you can see right here, I've cut the facing. Here is the facing for the front piece and for the back piece. This is for the back piece and this is for the front piece. Now you discover that the back piece is higher in terms of the neck line than that of the in terms of the neck depth than that of the front depth and neck depth. So the next thing I'm going to do, and the next thing I did, was to also cut the interface, and I went to iron the interface to the main fabric. Can you see both pieces, the two pieces, both the front piece and the back piece, as you can see right here? So I will advise you, when you are ironing your interface, make use of the soft one. Soft one is preferable. For me, I will advise you use the soft one, not the hard one. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to place my facing to the main fabric. Now here is the back, there is the back facing, so I'm going to place it to the main fabric of the back piece like this. Okay, so right now I will just go ahead and stitch using 0.5 to stitch the neckline round to the other side here. And this is what I will be doing to the second piece, which is the front piece. I will also place the facing just like this, okay, like I'm doing right now. So I'll place it and make sure it's equal both at the down part and also at the edge here, the shoulder line. So I will go ahead and stitch round using 0.5 inch to stitch round from one edge to another. So that's the next thing I will be doing right now. So I'll be right back. Now, as you can see right here, I went ahead and stitch the neckline. You can see also the front piece, you can see, with 0.5 or less than that. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to notch. So I'm going to notch it round, and the essence of notching it is to make it, by the time I turn it, it will relax very well. If you don't notch it the way I'm doing it like that, you find it difficult for it to relax by the time you turn it and to the right side. So that's just the essence of what I'm doing right now, and it is very, very necessary. So when you are doing yours, make sure you don't omit this. Very, very important. So I'm going to notch it round on the two pieces, both the front and the back piece. So you can see I'm done with that of the front. So I will also go ahead to the back piece. I will do likewise. I will notch it round, making sure that it's not round. You have to be careful in this case, because once it touches the stitches, it will render the neckline loose. So that is why in doing this you have to be very careful. Okay, so right now you can see how careful I am in doing it. So right now that I'm done, so the next thing I'm going to do right now is just to turn it outward. You can do it, you can turn it like that outward, it will relax, or you can go ahead and top stitch from the inside like this. So from the inside like this, you just go ahead and top stitch, or you can turn it to the other side before you do that. So like this, you just make sure this one comes like this, then you top stitch round like this, or you just turn it in like this, like I'm doing right now. Once you turn it now, the very important thing is for you to notch. You can see it's also, it has relaxed already. So the next thing you are going to do right now, in order not to stress yourself, you just go to the you place it on the table and iron it. Give it a very nice iron. You discover that it will relax well. So that's an optional way of making it more relaxed. Like I said, if you don't want to top stitch from the inner side, after which you have notched, just turn it like this. It will relax, and make sure you iron. Okay, so by the time I iron, I will be right back. Now, as you can see right here, I've ironed it. Can you see how relaxed it is? Very neat. Here is the back. Can you see? So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to place it right side to right side like this. So I'm going to place it like this, right side to right side. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is just to place it the shoulder like this. Okay, make sure it's equal on both ends. So I'm going to stitch with 0.5 across like this, and that is what I'm going to do to the second one. So I'm going to place it, making sure that it matches each other at this juncture. Okay, so I'm going to stitch. So this is the target. You make sure that you fix it, you place it at this point. Then I'm going to sew like this to this other end on both sides. So as you can see right here, I'm done stitching the two sides. This is the second side. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to bring it out like this. Okay, this is what I have. Can you see how relaxed it is? So the next thing is to open it like this. So by the time I open it like this, so I'm going to bring this in. Then can you see what I'm doing? Just watch the way I'm doing it right now. So the other parts are folded the two inside. So this other part is what I want to work on. So I'm going to place it from that point, the shoulder point. So I'm going to stitch. Can you see? So in order not to mix that point, so I will advise to stitch from that side. So this one will go in like this first. So you could use your pin and hold it. So making sure that it is well placed. So use your pin. So I'm going to use pin to pin it down, or if I'm not doing that, so I will just go straight to the machine and stitch this side downwards. After that, then I come to this other side. So from where I stop here, I'm going to run the stitch down to this side also. Can you see? So I've run the stitch from the other end to this other end. So right now I'm going to bring it out. So just pull it out like this gently, so that you have that smooth effect. Can you see? So you can see I've completed this side. So the next thing is to work on the second side. This side is completed, is sealed. Can you see? So all I need to do afterward is just to iron and make it more smoother than this. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to work on this second side. So this second side, what I did in this aspect is what I will be doing, repeating right now. So I'm going to push this in, then I bring this like this. I hope you are watching me. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that this line here matches with this line, this shoulder line, like this. So I'm going to do likewise. So you pin it down from that point, making sure that that point does not shift. So you pin it down at that point because that is a very strategic point. So you pin it down here. So right now I can now run my stitch on both ends. So I will run the stitch with 0.5 inch. Okay, so I will run the stitch here and also run the stitch down there. So as you can see right here, I've turned the two sides inside out. Can you see? Here is it. You can see the two sides. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do right now is to attach my band to the base or to the waistline. Okay, so I'm going to keep this aside. Now I've went ahead to cut 4 pieces, and the width of each piece is 2.5 inches, and remember I deducted 1.5 inch for the width of my band, so I went and cut 2.5. The reason is that I'm going to use 0.5 to attach it to the waist. Then the other 0.5 I'm going to use it to attach to the down part of this dress. So that is why I've cut 2.5 inches as the width of this band, and it's in 4. I cut 4 pieces, as you can see right here. 4 pieces, and 2 of these 4 pieces I went ahead to iron my interface to 2 of it, as you can see right here. So right now I'm going to sew this band to this the upper part. So right now you can see what I'm doing right now. The one that has an interface is the one I will be placing on the right side. So the first thing I'm going to do is to fold it into 2 equal parts, like I'm doing right now. So the essence of doing this is just to determine the center point. So I will fold it equally. Okay, so I'm going to notch it just a little to give me the center point. So here is it. So I'm going to do likewise to the second piece. Okay, so I'm going to divide it equally like this. I place it equally and I notch it one side to give me the center point. Okay, so right now, having notched it, I'm going to also fold this into 2 equal parts. So I will fold it like this, and what I'm doing right here is what I will be replicating doing on the second piece by the time it comes. So right now I will notch it just little, or if you don't want to notch it, just use your chalk to mark it just to determine the center point. Okay, so right now, having determined the center point, I have it here. So right now I'm going to place the one that has the interface, okay, like this, on that particular notch. Okay, like this. You can see right side to right side. Then I'm going to take the second piece where I notch also. Can you see that very particular point which I notch? So right now I'm going to use my pin to hold it, to pin it down, or if you can't do that, just go to the machine straight and then seal from one end with 0.5 down to the second, to the other end. So I'm going to pin it down like I said, so that it will be easy for me to seal without it shifting from that particular point on which I've placed it. So I will run a stitch 0.5 down to this other end. Okay, then I will also run 0.5 to the other end, and that is what I will also repeat right here. So as you can see right here, I've stitched the band to the two pieces. So this is how it's going to come. You can see it. Can you see? So now for the length of this band is going to be, for the waist is going to be the waist circumference. Like in this case, the waist circumference is 25 inches, and 25 inches divided by 2 will give me 12.5. So that 12.5, I'm going to add some allowance to it, like 2 inches or 1.5. If I'm to add 1.5 inches to that 12.5, it means on each side I will be using 3/4 of an inch to hold it on each side. If it is 2 inches, it means I will use 1 inch here, 1 inch here for my allowance. So in this case, I'm going to measure what I have. Already I've included the allowance. Now I have about 15 inches is too much, so I'm going to reduce it. So I'm going to reduce it to like 14 inches, which means that 12.5 plus 1.5 gives me 14 inches. It means the allowance on each side is 3/4 of an inch. So I will reduce it right now to 14 inches. So, and I'm going to do this to both sides. So having completed this, the next thing is to work on the down part of this thing, um dress. So right now, the next thing I will be doing right now is to keep this aside while I work on the down part. Now the down part here is it. The total length, I've subtracted, the total length of this dress is 37 inches, and by the time I subtract 15 inches from it, I will be having 22 inches left. So 22 inches left, so I have like about 22.5 inches right here, which means the 0.5, I'm going to use it. It's the fabric is not enough, or if not, I would have added like 1.5 inch to it. So I'm going to manage it. So the stitch, the allowance I will be using will be like 0.25 on both the down and the upper parts. So I will know how to manage that. So that is that for the length. Now for the width of this, I have the width to be 38 inches. Already I've measured it. Now it's going to be a box pleated down, a box pleated um so it's going to be box pleated or block pleated. You can see I have 38 inches here. So I've done some little calculation for me to arrive at that 38 inches. But meanwhile, if you are interested in how to make a block skirt or block pleat, so just maybe I will drop a link. I think I will drop a link on how to make that one and how to calculate it so that you have a perfect one. So right now, I'm going to cut this into 2 equal parts. Haven't done the calculation already to give me 38 inches for the width of each of the piece. So I'm going to cut it into 2 equal parts like I'm doing right now. So haven't cut it, so I will be working on the first piece. So I'm going to lay it like this. So I will be using this upper part as for the upper part of the dress. So the first thing I'm going to do right here, from here I will be measuring 1.25 inch. So I have it here. That's the first thing I will be doing right here. I mark 1.25 inch. Okay, so after that, so I'm going to measure 3 inches. Like I said the calculation has already been made. So if you are interested in this, just check the link. I will drop the link there on how to do this box pleated either skirts or to attach to a dress. So after 3 inches, I'm going to go ahead and mark 1.5 inch or inches. So I proceed, I mark 3 inches. I proceed, I mark 1.5 inches. So I proceed, I mark 3 inches. So I proceed like that till I complete this round. So I mark it like that till I complete this round. Having completed this round, I'm going to place it like I used to do. I place it on the second piece so that what I have here will be transferred to the second piece. So the details is in what I asked you to check after. The link I will post after in the description. Just check the description post box. You will see the link there, so you have detail of this. So don't worry yourself, okay? So I'm going to proceed like that till I end it up here. So as you can see right here, I'm done with the down part of the skirt. Um here is the outcome. Can you see? So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to attach it to the top, to the half cut. So right now I'm going to take, here is the top. So what I'm going to do right now is to turn this top to the to the back side. Okay, now I'm going to place this back side and back side together. Okay, so what I'm going to do, so I'm going to make a center point. So I'm going to fold it into 2 equal parts like I did the other time, just to locate the center point. So I'm going to mark it. So I'm going to mark it right here. Here is the center point. So I mark it. So also I'm going to mark the center point of this. So I mark. So right now, so I'm going to go ahead. I will simply place you see, this is the back side, like I said, so that you don't get confused. So I'm going to place it on that midpoint like this. So I'm going to stitch to this end. Afterward, then I stitch also to this end. Okay, and that is what I will be doing to the 2 pieces. So after concluding this, I will also go ahead to the second piece, which is this. So I will do likewise to the same piece. So as you can see right here, I've stitched it to the back, also the second one. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to close it up. So I'm going to fold it like this. So you can see that automatically this one comes in to close. So I'll now use this one, the second piece or the second band piece, to close it up like this. Okay, so right now we use like some inch, like 2.5 or 0.5, to close it up like this. So you can use your pin to pin it down, after which I will now run stitch or sew it from one end to the other. So I will use 0.5, like I said, to fold it in. Can you see what I'm doing right here? So I'm going to go ahead and pin it down, after which I top stitch. So this is how I'm going to go till I complete uh, this round. So at the end of the day, this is how it's going to look. So after this, then I will now go ahead and stitch the two sides and attach my zipper on the right hand side. Now, as you can see right here, I've top stitched the down part by closing it up. So here is it. Here is the front and this is the back. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to turn it right side to right side like this. So I'm going to close it up, but I'm going to leave on the right hand side. I will be leaving like 6 or 6.5 inches for the zipper allowance. So right now I'm going to close. So I'm going to stitch like 0.5 downward and also this. Then I'm going to create a space for the zipper, like I said. So far so good. I've come to the conclusion of this tutorial. Can you see this lovely pinafore dress? I hope you like this. And I want to believe that you have found this tutorial very, very helpful. Okay, if you have found it helpful, please kindly give it a big thumbs up. Thank you very much. If you have any question regarding this tutorial, feel free to drop your question in the comment section. And if you have any comments, kindly drop your comment as well. So that I will know your feedback regarding this particular tutorial. Thank you very, very much. So if you are here to subscribe this channel, this is an avenue for you. Don't postpone. Just click on the subscribe button below and you also click on the notification bell so that you can have access to my video. And always make sure that your notification bell is on so that anytime I post a new video, you have access to it. Thank you very much. So till I come your way again, do have a pleasant day and a wonderful time. Bye bye for now.